Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the first video of the new year. Happy 2023. I feel like I haven't filmed in such a long time, but today we're gonna chat about the new year. We're gonna talk about goals for 2023 and also just kind of reflect on last year and kind of talk about what some of my goals were last year. I did a whole 2022 goals video last year. So how did I do? What did I accomplish? What did I not accomplish? What did I learn? I feel like 2022 was such a good year in terms of just there was so much growth that happened in 2022, so it's gonna forever be one of my favorite years. And maybe you guys loved the year too, maybe it sucked for you. I'm sorry if it did, but for 2022, for me, it was a really great year. So we're just gonna dive right into it, and then we'll get to 2023, and then I'll talk to you about what we have planned for our home and for things that I have planned for the kids and personal goals, business goals, all of those things. So this is gonna be just one of those casual chatty videos. If you wanna play it while you're doing something else around the house, feel free to do that. But I'm glad that I get to catch up with you guys in a way. I miss vlogging. It's coming back, I promise. It's been a little chaotic over here, so give me a little bit of grace in that sense. So goals for 2022, I'm just gonna go this is literally the same note that I used last year when I filmed that video for my goals. So I opened it up. I had things on here goals that I had for Jackson. So I wanted to work on letters and colors with Jackson, teach him his ABCs, teach him his colors. We did accomplish teaching him his colors. So the kid knows his colors, the ABCs not so much. So he still needs a lot of work in terms of his letters. He'll sing the ABC song, he can sing the song, but he's not at a point yet where he can identify certain letters. And Riley at this point was identifying letters. She always did really well with her letters, but Jackson has other interests like his cars, and it's fine. He's 3, just turned 3 in December, and we'll get there with him. This year we'll probably do a lot more, just a little bit more structured homeschool stuff with him, at the next season, in fall. So he still has a little bit of time, and I'm really not too concerned, but that is one of the things that we didn't get to this year. So I had on here also getting the kids to eat a variety of foods. This year, it was a struggle. The kids are still very picky eaters. I feel like Riley though made a lot of progress, and Jackson even in some respects. So this year the kids will now consistently eat pizza, and I know that that sounds so freaking stupid because most kids obviously like pizza. Most kids obviously like mac and cheese and things like that. But my kids didn't, and my kids wouldn't touch it. So the fact that the other night we ordered pizza and Jackson had 3, they weren't giant slices, but he had 3 slices of pizza, was huge. And Riley also now likes pizza. So there's certain things that we've gotten them to eat this year that they didn't before. And this past week, I will let you know that Jackson, my biggest struggle with Jackson was that he wouldn't eat protein. I can't get him to eat chicken or steak or taco meat, nothing like that. Riley will eat chicken, she'll eat steak, but Jackson wouldn't, and he would put up the biggest fight. And last week he finally ate his very first chicken nugget. So that was also a huge win for us. So I think we did pretty good in terms of getting them to eat some new things. I'm very pleased with the progress we've made. The next thing I had on here was to continue Riley's curriculum. We did that, so that's good. We continued her curriculum for homeschool, and we're still going strong with homeschool. We're still using the Horizons preschool curriculum. I am supplementing her a little bit because I still have her on a pre-K 4 track, because if I sent her to an actual school, that's what she'd be doing. She'd be doing pre-K 4 because her birthday's in December. So she's one of those older kids. She just turned 5, but she's still in the pre-K 4 class. So in order to challenge her a little bit, because a lot of the pre-K 4 stuff she already knows, I supplement her with some kindergarten workbooks, and we do stuff like that. That way I feel it's a little bit more challenging for her, but still working on her curriculum, and so far it's working really well for her. Next on here, I had some more just random goals. So I had on here to make our house more of a home. I don't feel I really did this, if I'm being honest. I really didn't put in as much effort and time into making my spaces more functional and into decorating more. That's never been super high on my priority list. I'm not an interior designer by nature, but there have been several times this year where I shared with you guys earlier on, in 2022, we thought we were gonna be moving. There was a very strong likelihood. We had kind of been given every indication we were going to be moving, and then it fell through. So since I knew that that was probably gonna happen, I didn't invest that time into doing stuff around the house. And then now we're kind of at that same place too, and I'll talk about it when we get to 2023, where there's also a very strong likelihood that we will be moving soon. So I feel like we've been like just in limbo like this whole year of like, is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? Because if it is gonna happen, I'm not gonna like go crazy changing things up because like I have other focuses, you know what I mean? So that was something that definitely was not like, you know, focused on in 2022. I also had here to declutter and be more mindful of purchases. I decluttered some, but like there's still a crap ton of stuff we have to declutter, and that's still going on my list for this year. It's like never ending. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Like I've seen so many people on Instagram, like as of this new year, like that's a focus of everyone's. Like everybody wants to be more mindful of their space and declutter and organize. And I think that those are such good things, but like it never ends. Like as much as I purge, as much as I get rid of stuff, there's still more stuff. And so I'm trying to do better about that. But I guess I am happy that at least I started that process last year, and then we can just continue this year. But I will say, I think I did make like some progress in terms of being more mindful with my purchases. Like I really didn't spend a lot of money on personal things, and maybe that doesn't come across or doesn't translate on camera because, you know, I definitely show you guys when I purchase things, right? I show you the hauls of when I go and I buy new clothes or when I buy stuff for the kids. Like I show that to you guys to give you ideas, and you know, that way I make money by sharing links. But as a whole, like when I look at my entire life this past year, I really haven't spent a lot of money. Now, Joseph Buell, on the other hand, spent a lot of money. He bought a lot of things that he wanted, just, you know, boy things that he wanted, guy things. He has no problem spending money. But I, on the other hand, like I really didn't go crazy. Like I'll tell you guys, for Christmas, one of the best gifts that I gave myself this year was like that I really didn't get much for Christmas. Like I didn't want anything. I didn't feel like I needed anything. Like I got myself maybe like those 3 bowls, like, you know, for mixing dough, and I got the pancake griddle, and like literally like that was it. Like I really didn't buy a lot of stuff like other years. Like other years in the past, I've bought myself a bunch of stuff like on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and then like put it under the tree and then open that up on Christmas for myself. Like, hey, I bought it for myself. But this year I didn't do that because I didn't want to have more stuff to have to like put away and find space for. And I don't feel like I missed out anything by not having like a million gifts for myself this year. So that's something that I'm planning on continuing this year, but I do think I made a little bit of progress in 2022. I had on here also Riley's room refresh. I don't think we really refreshed Riley's room, other than I think we converted her room to like her bed, her crib or whatever. It was like a toddler bed. We made it the full, since her crib was like one of those like convertible things. But she's been asking recently for like, she wants like some unicorn themed like bedding and stuff, and I think we're gonna redo Jackson's room hopefully, so that we can get him like some Paw Patrol blankets. So hopefully soon, hopefully that'll be something that we do like in the next month or two. I wanted to get storage cabinets for like activities and stuff, so basically like make more use out of my dining room. That didn't happen. But something that did happen that you guys all saw happen was like one of the biggest accomplishments of 2022. And that's that I had put on here on my list, grow something in the spring. In terms of like gardening and growing something, I feel like I accomplished so much in terms of gardening this year. And I am so proud of myself for like literally all I had on here was grow something in the spring. And you guys saw my garden. You guys saw that it's not like I just grew one thing. I grew many things, and like a lot of things were fruitful and successful, and we were able to harvest them and eat them. Like I never in a million years expected to have even like a fraction of that. Like I would have been happy if I put like one seed in the ground and like one thing popped up and I was able to like eat one thing. And it was just such a fun learning experience. It was so fun. Like not everything worked out. Like there were definitely some failures in the garden, and that's fine. Like wasn't necessarily a failure. Like I still learned something and learned something for next time. But it was so much fun, and it was so therapeutic. It was something that I never thought that I would ever do in my entire lifetime. And now that's like a newfound passion, hobby, interest of mine. So I hope that in some way that was at least encouraging to you guys, somehow inspiring. You know, just to watch me go from like never having, you know, really planted anything before or never been able to keep a plant alive to having a really pretty garden. Like, it's definitely doable. You know, it just takes a lot of, you know, research and learning and just like learning as you go. Like, I didn't really plan much. I just kind of was like, I have this seed, I like this thing, let me put it in the ground and see what happens. So this year, if that's something that interests you guys, I just challenge you to watch a couple YouTube videos, get a few ideas, and then just try it out. Like, and you don't have to go crazy. Maybe you don't have, you know, like the amount of space that I had in those raised beds that were already there, right? Like, that made it a million times easier for me to get started. But maybe you go and you buy like a little planter box, or you just start with a couple of pots, like even in your balcony, even if you don't even have a backyard, like get a couple pots, get some dirt, get some seeds, and just start. Or you don't even have to like grow from seed. You can get some like started plants. Like, you can go to Home Depot, Lowe's, like go to the garden section. They have some sometimes that are already started, and then put them outside and watch them grow, see what happens. That was honestly one of my favorite things from this year. So I don't want to talk too much about it because like I could go on and on about this, but that was super, super cool. And then similarly, I had on here, make sourdough starter and bread. So I remember that that was my, like one of my very first things that I started tackling in, you know, 2022 was to make a sourdough starter. And it took me freaking forever to get my sourdough starter to work, to be alive. But we did it. Like, we started, I think we started with Jeff. I think I had Jeff, which was like another sourdough starter. And I think I gave up on him. I don't know. At some point he went away. He went to starter heaven. Like, he is no longer with us. But I kept going, and we have Phyllis now, and I've been baking bread since. So if you guys happen to be new here and you missed like the first time that I ever made bread, I'll link that video. That was like my first time ever doing like making a loaf of sourdough bread. That was so fulfilling. And when I made that bread, like, it was definitely nowhere near as good as like the bread that I make now. But just the fact that I was able to do it, like, it just made me very proud. And there was like a level of confidence that I gained that, like, it's so nerdy because it's like, it's just bread. Like, it's not like I freaking like got a gold medal. It's not like I, you know, did something crazy. I didn't cure cancer, but I made a freaking piece of bread. Like, I made a loaf of bread from scratch with my hands. Never done that before. So also, if that's something that you want to try, it's definitely worth it. And sourdough bread, like sourdough starter and sourdough bread, is a little bit more complicated. Maybe you don't like want to start there. Maybe that's like a little bit too intimidating, even though it's really, like, once you get into it, it's not that hard. But maybe consider just starting with making some non-sourdough bread from scratch. So that means like you have to like have what, like flour, water, maybe butter, and then like dry active yeast. Like, a lot of the recipes are very quick, very simple. On my Instagram account, actually, if you go to my Instagram account, I have a highlight that's called Quick and Easy Bread. And I walk you through the process of making the easiest bread you'll ever make in your life. And it's like a rustic loaf. It's delicious. It looks like a freaking piece of bread that you were given at a restaurant. So you might want to check that out if you haven't. Super simple. All right, I also had on here that I wanted to organize my basement, which I did and I didn't. I organized it better than it was at the beginning of the year. And I did the toy rotation, like the toy shelving organization. So that was like a huge project. But the basement still needs a lot of work. So I still have plenty more that I can organize in there. I also wanted to read more novels, which I definitely did not do. I just did not prioritize reading this year. That was like not my thing. I was more so into like the devotionals that I was reading, which is fine. Like, that was a fair trade because I needed that this year. And I feel like I got so much from focusing on my faith and from reading my devotionals, but that left less time to like read more novels. And then also I had on here Bible in a year. So I don't know if we hadn't started yet or we wanted to continue, but we did continue with Bible in a year. And Bible in a year has been such a blessing to both Joe and I. Joe obviously is very new to the faith, and so he's never read the Bible. I, being Catholic all these years growing up, I had never read the Bible start to finish. So now we've been able to like read the Bible from start to finish. Well, we're not quite done. I think we're on day 230 out of 365. So we still have more that will continue this year, but we've made it through 230 days of reading the Bible, reading scripture, like learning the context behind scripture, not just like individual lines from the Bible. Cause like, yeah, like I've gotten Bible verses and, you know, just like individual things like that that I've read, but it's a story. Like the Bible is a whole entire story. So when you understand the context, it all makes so much more sense. But if you try to read the Bible by yourself, it's very confusing, and like the words are big and you don't understand. There's genealogy, there's like all these lists of people's names. So I'll try to see if I can remember to link down below in the description box the link where you can listen to Bible in a Year. It's a podcast, but they also have all of the episodes on YouTube. So you can literally like turn on like episode 1 Bible in a Year. You don't even need a Bible because like all the words are put on the screen for you. And then Father Mike is the one that walks you through. Like he reads the passages that you're gonna read that day. And afterwards, like after you read the scripture, like he gives an explanation. Like he explains to you what this means. And it's been just like the best thing. So I'm glad we started, again, day 230. We usually do it once the kids are down for bed. We try to do it at least 4 times a week. Like there's some days that it just doesn't work out, but at least 4 or 5 times a week, we try to sit down and do it. So we will continue that this year. And then hopefully by the end of this year, we will have finished. All right, so then I think the rest, well, I had some travel goals. Like I had plans to go to Disney with my friend. That didn't work out because just the timing didn't work out. So we didn't go to Disney this year. Or did we go at the beginning of last year? I don't know, but I had planned on going again, and we didn't end up doing that this year. And then I also wanted to go to Great Wolf Lodge. That didn't happen this year, but like we did still do some other traveling. Like off the top of my head, we went to Williamsburg, which was so much fun, like going to Colonial Williamsburg. That was a really fun trip. And I'm glad that we did it because it was like something very different, something that like I had always heard really great things about that town, and something that like if we're living here in Virginia, I'm glad we got to do that now because it was like, you know, a short drive away. So we did Williamsburg and Jamestown, which was very, very cool. And I mean, we did a million trips to Miami to see my family. Other than that, I can't remember. Honestly, like what else we did this year. But even if that's all we did, like we still had so much fun being here and just like being together. So if you didn't travel a ton, like remember that like travel is not like an absolute necessity. Like I know some people make it seem like you have to be going on a trip every single week, but some people don't. Like sometimes, number one, like it's not in the budget, which realistically, like if it's not in the budget, you probably shouldn't be going. But there's plenty that you can do and take advantage of like wherever you live, you know, and do like little maybe, you know, one day overnight kind of things, or, you know, not these like elaborate trips. You know, trips are great, trips are nice, and like, yes, seeing new places is always super fun, but, you know, it's not like the number one priority for everyone. So this year, it wasn't a huge priority. Maybe next year it'll be different. And then in terms of like my business goals, I think I had put on here, like I wanted to hit 150,000 subscribers. Did not happen. I wanted to put out 3 videos a week. I think for most of 2022, I put out 3 videos a week. Like there were definitely some times when that didn't happen, but I think I was still pretty much doing 3 videos a week. I know towards the end of the year that didn't happen because like I was traveling and it was like Christmas time and just like a lot of stuff was going on. But I was still happy for the most part overall in like the year with like how much content I was putting out. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that, and I hope that like you're not like sick of me or bored or like you don't care. Like I hope you guys still care because I still want to be making content this coming year. Even though we'll talk about it when we get to next year's stuff, like it's gonna be a little bit different. So in terms of business though, I will give you just like a little bit of like inside scoop. 2022 was definitely not as good in terms of like monetary, whatever, success, whatever you want to call it. Like the money was not as much there as, at least for me, it had been in previous years. I've heard from like a lot of other content creators though, and I think that you can even see like if you search like people's content that you were used to seeing, a lot of like the views are down, at least here on YouTube. Maybe not for everybody, but like for me, views are down. And then when views are down, it means like, you know, advertisers and like the amount of money that you're getting from ads is down. I'm sure also the fact that we're like, you know, in a freaking recession also adds to that because there's less people like wanting to like buy a bunch of stuff. Then advertisers aren't paying as much money to like promote their products. So overall, like it wasn't a terrible year. I'm still very blessed that I get to do what I do, and I'm still very happy that I was able to provide like some extra income for our family, and it's helped us to save. And like I've told you guys before, like we're hoping to save for a down payment on our next house. Again, like I'm still super grateful for everything from this year in terms of that, but it definitely wasn't as much as like some other years. So that was just something that I had to adjust to. And honestly, you know, it made me realize like how grateful I am that I don't put all my eggs in one basket, that not all of my eggs are in the YouTube basket. Like Joe still has his job, and reminds me that even though like maybe we had one really great year or we had a couple really great months, you know, I can't be just like spending everything that I make. We've got to save it, because that's not always going to be the case. Like I do think that some form of content creation is always going to be here, but I don't think realistically that it's like a safe assumption that the money is always going to be there, or the same amount of money is always going to be there, or that the way you make money like is going to be the same for years and years. So I think it's kind of a risk that a lot of people take when they're like, oh, I quit my job and I'm just going to do YouTube full time. Like you do it if you have like other sources of income and you don't completely rely on this to make money. But that was just like a little bit of a reality check. And then in terms of like not business kind of stuff, I just did want to also, like, something that wasn't on this like goals sheet here was Joe and I getting married through the church, because I think when we started 2022, like that wasn't even like on our radar. And this year, it just, like the Holy Spirit was with us this entire year. Not that the Holy Spirit has not been with us in other years, but it was very obvious that the Lord was working in our life this year, like very obvious. And so just like everything that we went through in terms of like the relationship that we built with the priest here and finding a church, and that, you know, Joe is doing our CIA now, and that we went through the convalidation process and took those marriage classes, and that now we are married through the church. Like all of that happened this year, and all of that was such a huge blessing to our marriage. And again, one of those things that I could go on and on and on about, which is like a different video, but I did want to acknowledge like what a good year it was for both of our faith, like, you know, for our faith, like my faith, Joe's faith, and then just like for our kids, and like going to mass every Sunday, and just like prioritizing that was huge. And we noticed a difference like in the overall family dynamic, in my marriage with Joe. So when you're making goals for this year, if you haven't already, I would personally suggest that you try to put that as like one of the top important things, because it does make a difference. Like you can, you know, folks say, hey, I'm gonna go to the gym every day, or hey, I'm gonna have like all these health goals, and I'm gonna have, you know, self-care goals, and like all of these different goals, and I want to read more. But if like you're lacking in like the spiritual department, if you're lacking in like your faith, you can do all those other things, and I don't think you're going to reach that, like what you're looking for. Like you're always gonna feel like something is missing, and maybe some people won't appreciate that. That's fine. I know that there are some people on here that have been bothered in the past, like when I share my faith and the fact that I do think it's like the most important thing in your life. That is my conviction. That is how I feel about my faith. And so I'm just telling you how I feel. And I hope, like the only reason to tell you that is to hopefully help you. Like, hey, if you've been struggling and you're like, what is missing? I can't put my finger on it. Maybe try that. Maybe try that is all I'm saying. And I think that you will see like a difference. So anyway, now that I've been talking probably for like half an hour on the past year, let's talk about 2023. So funny enough, you know, last year my word for the year, whatever, was rest. I definitely don't think that my year ended up being about rest. I think more so last year my word was growth. That was kind of what I got from the year in like so many different respects. This year I would like for my word to be rest, because I've been feeling really called to rest. I've been feeling just like I am tired. I am burnt out in a lot of ways. I'm a homeschool mom. I work from home. I have all these other things that I try to juggle, but like I'm tired. Like I'm tired. I need to rest, and I need to prioritize it. And I'm a workaholic by nature. Like I love what I do, so I always want to do it, but I do feel like I'm being called to rest. And not that I'm being told or called to like not do any of this kind of work, but I have to find a better way to balance like being at home and taking care of my kids and being a wife, and also having somewhat of a career. I have to find a better balance, because my kids are getting older, and you know, they need more attention. They need more one-on-one attention, and the fact that I'm homeschooling them, again, it's a choice that I'm making. I want to be here and I want to be present for them and I want to teach them all the things, but it takes freaking time. So I have to have time to do that, and then also to cook and to do laundry and to do all of the things. And we have our co-op that we go to where we interact with other kids, and we have like mom's club that I go to. Like, there's a lot of things and there's definitely not enough time. So that's one of the reasons why, like, towards the end of the year, you weren't maybe seeing consistently like 3 videos a week. I'm thinking that for this year, it's gonna be more realistic to expect 2 videos a week from me. So I hope that you guys are okay with that. I mean, I would love to say yes, like when I feel super inspired or when the time allows, depending on what kind of video it is, maybe you will see 3 videos a week, but I think it's gonna be more reasonable just to expect 2 videos a week. And that's gonna be a better balance, because 3 videos a week requires like a lot. Like, it's a lot of filming, and you guys know most of my videos, like especially when I vlog, you guys, I have like an hour and a half worth of footage that I go through. A lot of times, like, the longer your videos are, the longer they take to edit and to like upload. And my videos used to be like super long. I still love super long chatty content, but it takes a lot of time. Like, if I was putting up 10-minute vlogs, yeah, that would be really easy to get a bunch of them up, but they're usually longer than that. So I'm likely gonna try that out, see how it goes, see how I feel about that, and, you know, hopefully you guys will still, you know, want to watch those and tune into those. But I've just found myself, like, it's a lot. And so that's something that I have to just like be okay with. I have to be okay with just understanding that in life there's different seasons, and as much as I would love to work all the time and produce all the content and sell all the courses and do all of the things, right? Because there's a lot of different opportunities and there's a lot of different ways that I could be trying to make money if that was my only goal, but it is not. There's a lot of things that I could be doing, but it would require work all the time. And so I have to say, you know what? I'm at a point where my kids are little. I want to be home with them. Maybe one day when they are all out of the house and I'm bored out of my mind, I can be talking to a camera all freaking day long, and that'll be my life in the future. But right now, I don't have the time to do that. And the thing is that that's okay, because like in the grand scheme of things, like in the big scheme of things, like the priority isn't just to make a crap ton of money. Like, at least for me, the priority is to not miss out on my children and to be present for my children. Obviously, we want to be able to put a roof over their head, make sure that they're fed, give them a good life, but I'm not willing to exchange the time with my kids just so that they can have a bunch of stuff, just so that I can make a crap ton of money and give them a huge house and be able to buy them all the things. Like, I know that I buy them a lot of things, but if I had to scale back on that, which I will very much have to scale back on that, then that's okay, because like that's not really what they need and not really like the most important thing. So all in all, just I need to find a better balance to all of those things. I'd love to get more organized. I bought myself a planner, so I'm hoping to be able to use my planner to like look at my whole week at a glance and be able to like say, okay, on this day we have doctor's appointments, so then on this day we're gonna be able to do this kind of stuff. We have co-op on this day. So my goal is to be able to look at the week and just plan, schedule accordingly, just get a little bit more structured, because I am very unstructured. I am very just like go with the flow, which is good in a lot of ways, but I need to get a little bit more structured. So hoping my planner situation is gonna help. And then I'm also hoping to use that planner to meal plan too. I've talked to you guys about how I've been wanting to meal plan, just get more serious about being more organized in the kitchen so that I know what I'm making. Like, that's a big goal of mine for the next year. So I hope that I can, you know, help in that department. If I learn anything, I promise I will let you know. I want to continue Bible in a year, like I already told you guys. So we have like 130 something days left. I think we can do it. And then I also have on here just to buy less things and to focus on like trying to reduce a lot of those impulse purchases. I'm an impulse shopper. I'm a late night scroller. I'm bored. Let me go on Amazon, add stuff to my cart, or like what has been sitting in my save for later cart that I can buy now. And a lot of times it's because I'm like bored, or I just like need something exciting. And like, it sounds so dumb, but like that's what it is. Like half the time I don't need the thing, and then I get it. It comes in the mail, it comes in a box, and I'm like, great. I have another box I have to throw away, and it's annoying and it takes up space. So I'm trying to work on all of that. Like I really am. So I'm hoping that that will also help with just like the decluttering of things. Like obviously you have to get rid of a lot of stuff, but if you get rid of a lot of stuff and then you continue to buy a lot of stuff, like you're just like spinning your wheels. So I'm gonna make a bigger effort this year to focus on that. So again, if you're feeling the same pain, if you're looking around, things are cluttered, just know you're not alone. And I'm also like, I'm not advocating for a perfectly minimalistic house that is spotless with 0 toys around, or like, isn't it Kim Kardashian that like her house is literally, it looks like a freaking museum? Like that's not realistic when you have children. Like I'm sorry, I don't know what house like is just spotless and always tidied and has 0 toys out when you have little kids. Like I've got a 5-year-old, I've got a 3-year-old. Like that's just not gonna happen. Or I'd be constantly picking up every 2 seconds and be a freaking lunatic. But I know like 1000% that we can do way better. And then it would eliminate a lot of like the decision fatigue. I have a lot of decision fatigue. I end up not doing anything or not putting stuff away because I'm like, I don't feel like freaking figuring out where this goes. Like I don't feel like finding a home for it. It takes too much mental brain power to do it. So it just sits there on my stairs, on my counter. Like I'm looking at the things now, and then it stresses me out because I'm looking at it. Like all of these things are true, okay? I know it, I acknowledge it. It doesn't like cause me to lose sleep at night, hence why like I'm still a functioning human, but it needs to be improved upon. So I can recognize that we need some work there. So other little things that I have on here for goals for this coming year. I want to make pasta from scratch. I think it's doable. If I thought that I was gonna be able to make bread and I was able to succeed in making bread, I think we can make pasta, because from my understanding, it's just a few ingredients. You like roll it out the same way that you would do dough. And I know that they have like the fancy pasta attachment things for the KitchenAid that I can buy, but we can start old school first, right? Like roll it out, like cut it into little strips, and like there you have pasta. So I'm gonna try it, and I will definitely let you guys know how that goes. And then I also had here on my list for the year to make tostones. I don't know if you guys know what tostones are, but it's like one of my favorite things, like Cuban food. When I order Cuban food in Miami, I order tostones. They are like fried green plantains, like, yeah, plantains that are like green. You fry them and they're delicious. So I had that on there, and I will tell you that I succeeded in making them. So I actually made them a few days ago. They were delicious. I think I made them a little bit when like the plantain was like a little bit too sweet. So it kind of tasted like a mix of like a maduro and a toton, but they were still delicious, and I learned how to make it. The process is very easy. So at least I've started trying to complete some of these tasks. And then I also like, just to, you know, finish up in the kitchen, I just want to continue with this like love for bread making. I want to continue to focus on buying less bread products at the store and like making my own kinds of breads and cookies, and less processed stuff, more from scratch stuff. Of course, it takes more time, which is what's often hard to come by, but I think it's doable. And not that I'm never gonna buy a piece of bread from the store, but just like less. Like the other night I made from scratch hamburger buns, and that's not something that I really had made before. So now that I have a good recipe for that, like I can make hamburger buns and I don't have to go to the store to buy those. So I can make hamburgers whenever I want. So then I talked to you guys just more about organizing, decluttering. I have that on here. And then I also, big goal for the year is to potty train Jackson. I'm dreading it. I have put it off as long as I can, but I finally need to just do it. So potty training him, and then also working on his ABCs, since he still needs help from last year. Work with him on that. And then for Riley, I want to start working with her on reading. So we've been working on sight words. We've been working on like her understanding what sounds certain letters make, and we've started like blending words and all of that. So I think that she's gonna be okay when it comes to reading. I just want to like sit down and like make that a focus. So hopefully by the end of 2023, we will have very much like started that. Like she'll still technically be in kindergarten at the time, but I think that she's ready to at least start like the initial parts of like learning how to read. And then I have on here just like some travel goals. I would love to do at least one trip with the kids, and then another trip with Joe. I don't know how realistic that'll be, because again, in order for me to have a trip with Joe, we will have to be in Miami. So hopefully it'll happen. And then a trip for the kids, I don't know where to, but I would like to go to Mickey's Merry Christmas this year. I would love to see that happen. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, then okay. But Jackson's at an age now where he would really enjoy going to Disney. And Riley obviously would love going to Disney. So maybe we do the Mickey's Merry Christmas, even if it's just for a couple nights, even if we don't do like a whole week-long trip to Disney. I don't know, we'll have to see. But all of that to say, like the big goal for 2023 and what is very much likely to be a possibility is this move back to Miami. And I can't tell you for certain, like 100% it's happening or exactly when it's happening. But again, it's one of those things where we have at this moment, like when I am filming this, we have a very big, there's a very big possibility that that's going to be put into motion in the next couple of months. So if that does happen, and if that does end up being the case, and it doesn't get all screwed up like last time, if that's the case, then that will be a huge undertaking of moving and selling this house and buying our house in Miami. So it's exciting. It's all like super exciting stuff. That's been our goal since we moved here, right? To get back closer to family so that we have help, so that Joe and I can go on date nights. We can get back to our family, our friends, and, you know, set up our community down there. That's always been the end goal. And again, the time that we've spent here in Virginia has been the greatest blessing of our life. Like, I know we needed to be here, but I'm definitely feeling like it's time to go back. I'm over the cold weather. I need the sunshine and just, I need the help. And it would just be so great to be able to do that. So exciting. Like, obviously I'm thrilled. Joe would be thrilled if that happened. The kids would be thrilled, but that would also be like a very big focus of the year, and that would take time and that would take energy, and the house hunting and the selling here, a lot of things. And that's one of the reasons why I want to focus so much on decluttering, getting rid of things in the basement that I haven't looked at or seen in years and don't need. Get rid of it. Like, literally, just like, I want to just close my eyes and just like have it all be gone. And then I know that I would miss certain things, so like I have to still sort like certain sentimental things. But there's so much crap down there that I don't need. And it's a lot of times like, I know I don't need it, I don't want it, but like, how do I get rid of it? Like, I have to put it in a box, and then I have to like lug it up here, and then I have to like take it to the dump or take it to, you know, to donate somewhere. And there's a lot of effort that is involved in that process. So we're gonna focus on that so that hopefully we can move, so that hopefully we can have a house in Miami. But the house that we have in Miami is gonna be a fortune, so we're also trying to save money. And it's likely not going to be very big. So I'm not even going to have space for even half of the things that I have. So we're going to have to do a lot of downsizing if that happens. But that's just a little peek at what is on the radar for this coming year. And I hope that you guys are excited and that you'll be excited whatever journey we take you guys on, and the stuff that you're able to, you know, just like tag along with me, and you know, the stuff that I film and that I share with you guys. I've just been praying. I continue to pray that whatever happens is, you know, for the best for our family, and if that's what God wants for us at this point, then I am all in. But as you can imagine, it's just a lot. It's a lot on my plate, and I'm trying my best, like I always do, like just trying my best to juggle it all. So I hope you guys are still here and are still just wanting to be my friend, and that I haven't scared you off. You haven't forgotten about me, because again, I freaking, you know, I love what I do, and I love that I get to share my life with you. It's just definitely gotten harder to do as life has progressed. So with that being said, if you guys have any kinds of like content requests or things that you want to see, things that you want me to focus on this year, please let me know in the comments, because if I am going to be more intentional about what I share, what I put out, I want to make sure that it's stuff that you guys want to see, right? Like, I want to make sure that it's stuff that you're interested in, and that obviously, like, I have to like it too, but I like that feedback. I like knowing what you guys look forward to, and what you guys, you know, like, what do you go on YouTube and like look for? What do you want to watch? And like, if I post a video, like, what do you get most excited when I post? Is it the vlogs? Is it something entirely different? Is it like the mom chat videos where I just talk about random events in the world? Like, what do you want to see so that I can make that stuff? It's always very helpful for me to know lots of good things. And I'm just very much looking forward to this year. So anyway, I'm gonna end the vlog here because Jackson has been napping, and maybe I can enjoy like another 15 minutes of him just relaxing, and I can just relax on the couch. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that 2023 is off to a good start for you guys, and that it's a really great year for you, and that it can be a year of like learning something or bettering yourself in some way. Maybe it is like your finances. Maybe you're gonna work on budgeting. Maybe you're gonna work on your health. Maybe you're gonna work on your spiritual health. Like, I hope that it's just a year of trying to focus on the things that are important and the things that really matter in your life. That's gonna make the biggest difference, right? I think that's kind of like what I always think about when I start a new year. Like, how can we do better? How can we improve? You know, all of the things. And I think the new year lends itself to a lot of that reflection. So I love you guys. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? So I love your freaking faces. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.